Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Wednesday, February 22, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comment section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. Coastal Carolina versus Georgia Southern. KenPom's adjusted efficiency margin shows there is a difference between these programs, as Coastal Carolina is 282nd in the sport with a -8.89 rating, while Georgia Southern is 210th in college basketball with a -2.55 rating so far. These teams are essentially the same in terms of shooting percentage, with the Chanticleers being 167th in the nation with a 43.9 opposing field goal percentage, while the Eagles are right behind them at 168th in the United States with a 44 field goal percentage against. All in all, go with the Georgia Southern Eagles to cover the spread in their own building. Take Georgia Southern -6.5 points. The total is going to be way too high here, as the defenses lately are struggling, with Coastal Carolina giving up 73 points in their last 3 games, while Georgia Southern is allowing 69.4 points in their previous 5 games. These programs also have struggled to move the ball at a quick pace, as the Eagles are 241st in the nation with 68.9 possessions per game, while the Chanticleers are 167th in the country with 70.4 possessions per game. The under has hit in 5 of the previous 7 Chanticleers road games, as well as in 5 of the last 6 Eagles home games against a team with a losing road record, so go with the under 142.5 points to hit in this game. Dayton versus Massachusetts. When diving into the KenPom adjusted efficiency margin, there is a pretty sizable difference, as Dayton is 69th in the country with a +11.61 rating, while UMass is 182nd in the sport with a -1.02 rating so far. These defenses have been on 2 completely different levels in the most recent stretch of games, as the Flyers are giving up 54.3 points in their previous 3 games, while the Minutemen are allowing 73 points in their last 5 games. All in all, go with the Dayton Flyers to cover the spread on the road, as they are the better program by far in this game and should dominate here. Take Dayton -8.5 points. On the defensive side of things, these teams are 2 of the best at limiting 3-point shots against them, as Dayton is 5th in the country with a 28.2 opposing 3-point percentage, while UMass is 87th in college basketball with a 32.3 percentage from beyond the arc. These offenses are not scoring too well lately, with the Flyers averaging 64 points in their last 4 games, while the Minutemen are scoring 69.6 points in their previous 5 games. Go with the under in this game, as it seems to be the better option going forward here. Troy versus UL Monroe. There is a massive difference between these teams as of late, with Troy scoring 75 points in their last 3 games, while UL Monroe is averaging 56 points in their previous 4 games. Diving into KenPom's adjusted efficiency margin, there is a large difference between these programs, as the Trojans are 134th in the sport with a +2.95 rating, while the Warhawks are 274th in college basketball with a -8.72 rating so far. Go with the Troy Trojans to cover the spread on the road, as they should easily cover the spread in this matchup. Our team pick is Troy Trojans -3.5 points. Both programs have been incredibly well throughout the season drawing free throw attempts, as UL Monroe is averaging 17.3 free throw attempts per game, while Troy is attempting 18.2 attempts from the charity stripe. These defenses have been struggling a bit to get stops consistently, as the Trojans are giving up 67.2 points in their last 5 games, while the Warhawks are allowing 80.3 points in their previous 3 games. The over has hit in 5 of the previous 6 Trojans games against teams with a losing record, as well as in the previous 4 Warhawks games played on Wednesday, and that makes the over seem like the best play we can make. Our total pick is over 134.5 points. Northern Iowa versus Southern Illinois. There is a bit of a divide when diving into KenPom's adjusted efficiency margin, as Northern Iowa is 213th in the country with a -2.88 rating, while Southern Illinois is 135th in college basketball with a +2.64 rating so far. The assist-to-turnover ratio shows a difference between these programs, as the Panthers are 256th in basketball with a 0.904 ratio, while the Salukis are 165th in the nation with a 1.033 ratio. All in all, take the Southern Illinois Salukis to cover the spread at home. These teams have been doing decently well lately on the defensive end of the floor, as Northern Iowa is giving up 75.2 points in their last 5 games, while Southern Illinois is allowing 64.7 points in their previous 3 games. Neither team has been pushing the pace throughout the season, as the Panthers are 224th in the country with 69.2 possessions per game, while the Salukis are 339th in the country with 66.1 possessions per game. Go with the under to hit, as it seems to make the most sense. Illinois, Chicago vs Evansville. Now, if Evansville is a perfect 5-0 ATS this year when scoring 70+, and Illinois Chicago hasn't won consecutive games in months, the question in terms of picking a side here has to be whether or not you believe Evansville can score, or threaten, 70+ points. A relatively big ask for a team that averages 62.4 points per game, a number that bumps up to 64.3/game at home. Yet Illinois Chicago is still a team that allows an average of 75.5 points against on the road, and while they may be 2-0 ATS as road favorites this year, neither of those games came during conference play. So do I believe Evansville's got a chance to at least threaten 70 points and get an ATS win? Reluctantly I do, because the Flames still only average 66.5 points themselves, so even 67 or higher may do in terms of an outright win for the Aces. UIC's points per game number on the road is an even worse 62.8, which puts them right in that sweet spot with near identical numbers to what this abysmal Evansville offense owns overall, 62.4, and at home, 64.3. So I'll take any amount of points with the home underdog here, as it's a nice cushion in terms of margin of error here based on what I expect the offensive production to be for both sides. Evansville's got a shot at the outright win here, but I'm happy just taking the points. Our team pick is Evansville plus 1.5 points. The total is a much tougher selection to get confidently behind, because to me it comes down to how much weight I want to apply to the poor offensive numbers both teams have, or the poor defensive numbers both teams own. Neither team has shown all year that they can consistently knock down enough shots to pull their weight in getting an over ticket to cash, but they also might not need to given how bad they can be defensively. Evansville is 18-11 OU on the season, but that winning percentage drops in home games with a 7-5 OU record on their own floor. Illinois Chicago is 7-6 OU on the road this season, but they are also 14-14 OU for the year, and 9-9 OU in conference play. So it really can be anyone's guess as to what version of this Flames team we will see on a nightly basis. However, typically in those past over results for these teams, it's been their poor defense that's been up against some exponentially better offenses than what either team will really see here. Those games could still get up and over the total because the opponents of Evansville or Illinois Chicago were capable of doing most of the heavy lifting. I don't see either side being able to take that mantle here, and with Evansville on a 4-0 run to the under in their last 4 at home, I end up putting more weight in the poor offensive numbers and expect the missed shots that have plagued both teams all year to be the story again tonight. Take the under. Illinois State vs Drake. Taking Drake to cover their spread in this one for various reasons. The Bulldogs are a much better team overall when compared to Illinois State, ranking better in both offensive and defensive efficiency according to KenPom. Expect Drake's defense to be overwhelming for the Redbirds' offense, which already tends to struggle against average competition. In terms of trends, Illinois State has failed to cover in 5 of their past 6 games overall, and has failed to cover in their last 4 consecutive games following an against the spread loss. Meanwhile, Drake has covered in their past 4 consecutive games, and in their past 4 games following a win, making me confident in taking Drake to cover their spread in this one. Our team pick is Drake minus 15.5 points. Despite highlighting Drake's defense throughout the article, I am confident this game will go over the given total. Drake averages 75.9 points per game on the season, while Illinois State averages 67 points per game, which already puts our adjusted total over the given total. In addition, Drake's defense is allowing opponents to average 65 points per game on the season, which happens to be about what Illinois State averages anyways. In terms of trends, Illinois State has gone over in their past 4 road games, and in their past 5 games against a team with a winning record. Meanwhile, Drake has gone over in 6 of their past 7 games overall, and in 6 of their past 7 games against a team with a losing record. making me confident in taking the over for this matchup. Our total pick is over 137.5 points. South Alabama vs Texas State. The Jaguars are playing very well right now. South Alabama comes into this game on a 4-game winning streak. The Jaguars have also won 7 of their last 8 games. Texas State has struggled all year, and the Bobcats are just 3-8 in their last 11 games. Texas State beat South Alabama earlier in the year when the Jaguars were struggling, but these are different teams now. Texas State is also just 1-5 in their last 6 road games. South Alabama has been a strong defensive team all year. The Jaguars should be able to limit an inconsistent Bobcat offense in this matchup. Take South Alabama minus 3.5 points. South Alabama has been a strong defensive team all season, and the Jaguars are playing their best basketball right now. South Alabama has held 4 of their last 5 opponents to 57 points or less. Texas State has also struggled offensively and on the road this season. The Bobcats are shooting just 43.4% from the field this year. The Jaguars are also 245th out of 363 teams in adjusted tempo, while Texas State has also played slower at home this season. Our total pick: take the under. Arkansas State vs Louisiana. Looking at the assist-to-turnover ratio throughout the season shows a huge divide as the Ragin' Cajuns are 71st in the nation with a 1.199 ratio while the Red Wolves are 219th in college basketball with a 0.959 ratio thus far. The offenses in the last few games show a difference between these teams as Arkansas State is averaging 63 points in their last 4 games while Louisiana is scoring 73 points in their previous 5 games. Go with the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns to cover the spread as they should dominate here. Our team pick is Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns minus 14.5 points. Both of these teams have been struggling a bit on the defensive side of things as in the last 4 games. Arkansas State is giving up 67.8 points per game while Louisiana is allowing 75.8 points per game in that stretch. When diving into Ken Palm's adjusted defensive rating, there is a huge issue as the Ragin' Cajuns are 198th in the nation with a 106 defensive rating while the Red Wolves are 280th in the sport with a 109.9 defensive rating. All in all, go with the over to hit as these defenses are not doing well enough to get enough stops. Our total pick is over 138.5 points.